Maybe it's not your time, maybe it's not your place, or maybe it's just not your season. And sometimes rejection is protection, even when it hurts. Just because God called you into a room doesn't mean it's going to be easy either. Welcome back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Riff with T. I'm your host, T, of course. And this is our third official episode. Yay! If this is your first time here, thank you for joining us. This is the right spot. Pull up a chair, come into the office, sit on down. Today we'll be talking about things that a lot of us don't like to admit hurts, but it stings, it hurts, it sucks. And that is rejection, career rejection, personal rejection, situational rejection. I mean, they all suck. The kind that makes you question yourself at 3 a.m., like, why me? But most of the time, it's like, really, why not you? I want to talk about the idea that rejection is protection. Because let's be honest, when it first happens, it does not feel like it. It feels like disappointment, despair, loss, confusion. It doesn't feel great. I used to think that rejection meant that I wasn't good enough, that I missed an opportunity, I missed something, or maybe I just didn't have what it takes. But that couldn't be further from the truth. When a job doesn't call you back or a door slams shut that you worked so hard for, a situation that you were just sure that it would work out and it didn't. But looking back now, I'm sure there's so many times that you can look back and say, that rejection, it actually saved me. Let's be clear. It can make you replay conversations, second guess your decision, and question your worth, especially when you know that you're qualified and when you show up prepared, you know that you're doing everything right. If you've ever told yourself that maybe I wasn't enough, I want you to stop right there. Just pause, just stop. Because rejection is not always a reflection of your value. And sometimes it's just a boundary that you didn't know you needed. So let's talk about career for a second. Sometimes a job that you didn't get would have burned you out. It would have stalled your growth. It would have put you under leadership that didn't respect you. The roles sometimes look good on paper, but it will cost you your peace in real life. And Lord knows if it costs you your peace, it is too damn expensive. And that part is hard to hear. You were being protected from an environment that would have required you to shrink just to survive, where you could have thrived somewhere else. Sometimes you just got to look at it for what it is. You, God, and the universe, however you want to look at that, pushing you towards where you need to be. And sometimes it doesn't feel the best, but it happens to the best of us. Interview that was your rejection, the promotion that you didn't get, the layoff that felt devastating may have been the thing that pushed you towards alignment instead of approval. And there's so many times that you probably could look back on your life and just say, you know what, that actually did protect me from something. Whether it was a relationship, maybe there was somebody that you wanted to be with and it just didn't work out, and then when you look back, you're like, I found someone better. Just the same as what it goes for a job. And maybe it's just not your time. And then sometimes we're just not prepared. We feel like we're ready. We thought we were ready. We thought we knew what we needed to know and we were ready. And sometimes it just knocks us back some. And we're like, you know what? Actually, I wasn't ready, or something happens in life where you just have to sit down and be like, okay, yeah, I wasn't ready for that. But then when it comes around, it is so much better because you're better prepared, you're ready for it, and whatever you're supposed to have, it's for you. It will always be. With all that said, I know it was a brief one. All that said, I wanted to share a story that I came across recently that fits perfectly into this conversation. It was interesting enough to share, pretty much, because I know a lot of us will recognize the feeling. So here's the situation. I was interviewing for a job with a company. I had 2 interviews already with the account executive whom I would be working with. Let's call him Bob. I was genuinely excited. The role seemed like a strong fit, and earlier conversations focused on my experience, background, and the work itself. During the first phone interview, Bob casually asked about a wife and kids. I thought that was weird, but I pivoted as I am gay and I don't necessarily want to bring up my personal life in an interview setting. I said, outside of work, I spend my time caring for family, and that seemed to work. The conversation moved forward. A few days later, I was invited to an in person over lunch interview. Within 2 minutes of sitting down, Bob took a selfie of the two of us and immediately sent it to the recruiter. That alone felt strange. The conversation itself was fine at first, background, experience, qualifications, but then it happened again. He asked very directly, Do you have a girlfriend, family, or kids? At this point, I was confused on whether this was small talk or him trying to be personal. So, trying not to come across guarded or unapproachable, I mentioned that I live with a partner. No labels, no explanation, just the answer to the question without opening a door that didn't need to be open or getting too personal. He didn't react negatively and quickly shifted back to the role and asked follow-up questions, as did I. My question is, how best should I handle this situation? I hate coming across not personable, but I left wondering if the question was harmless or inappropriate. Days later, after a total of 9 interviews, I received an email that the company decided to move forward with another candidate. To be honest, that stung. So I did find the update. I just wanted to share. Sometime later, I landed a role that actually felt aligned. The interview focused on my skills and not my personal life. Looking back, I realized that the interview process for the previous job felt uncomfortable and invasive, and the job itself probably would have been worse. But felt like rejection turned into redirection. I didn't miss out on the right job. Okay, happy ending, right? But I just want to step out of this for a second, putting on my little HR hat. I'm just going to say any personal questions could lead to some type of bias or discrimination or a problem. So you would not want to go to a place that would even ask a question like that. Shouldn't be asking about your personal life because it has nothing to do with what you're doing in the office. And an interviewer doesn't need access to your personal life to determine whether you're qualified, committed, or capable to do a job. The question about the relationship and kids and your home life is not required. First of all, 9 interviews is crazy. That is excessive. That is anything beyond like 3 to 4 is usually a sign of indecision or lack of alignment or internal dysfunction. So a well-run organization, they respect the candidate's time and making decision effectively is part of that. Dragging somebody through 9 interviews often means that there's no clear direction making, poor internal communication with leadership, and it's just not a good fit. That's that seems kind of chaotic, and something like that does not disappear when you're hired. Second, the question about your personal life, your marital status, your sexual orientation, your family structure, any of this stuff, those questions are irrelevant to the job and your performance, can create discomfort or bias and definitely put the agency or the company at risk. An interview is not a social hangout, it's a professional evaluation. And if the interview process makes you feel uncomfortable or discomforted by the information, that's not the place for you. It's time for HR reality check. Reality check number 1. If a company needs you to interview 9 times, that's not the organization for you. Like 9 interviews to decide whether you're the right person, unless you're becoming like a doctor or something, there I don't see why you would interview 9 times. I don't care who you are. I mean, unless you're changing the world, that's crazy. Reality check number 2. If an interviewer asks you personal questions unrelated to the role, they're crossing a boundary. So that's not the place for you either. Reality check number 3, if you feel like you're explaining or justifying your existence during an interview, the environment probably isn't safe. And reality check number 4, rejection from a process full of red flags is not a loss. It is protection. Remember, when you're on interviews, you are interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. You're asking questions. You want to know what's going on. You want to know the environment that you're about to walk into. And just as much as you need a job and you want to say yes and you hope things work out, if you're getting red flags, that stuff doesn't disappear when you come on board. That is something that you have to take into account and realize whether you understand and know if that's what you want to walk into, because you don't need the additional stress for a paycheck. You need to be able to find somewhere that you can grow and that you can help elevate yourself. Your job is, and again, is a way for you to get experience. You know the stuff when you walk in the door, but you're getting more experience wherever you are doing whatever you're doing. So again, you are interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you, because if there's red flags when you walk in the door, it's going to be a fire when you get there. So just remember that. If you ever find yourself in an interview where someone's asking personal questions you don't want to answer or you shouldn't answer, here's a professional way to pivot. Option 1, polished and neutral, keep it cute. I value a strong work-life balance, which helps me stay focused and productive during work hours. Just be, clear. Somebody's like, hey, you got kids, you got a family. They don't need to know all that. That is not their business. Another way to nice, confident, still neutral, but redirect. Are you asking in relation to a workload or travel or availability? I can assure you that I am fully committed and I can consistently meet expectations. That's it. Redirect, let them know, like, hey, I didn't heard you the first time. You asking again, what are you asking for? The third option, if you just want to just shut that line of questioning down, the professional way that you could do so is I keep my personal life separate from my professional one, but I'm happy to speak to you about my reliability, work ethic, and ability to support the team and our goals. So already put yourself in there, very much giving mind your business. So let me say this clearly. You do not owe anyone access to your personal life in exchange for employment. A healthy workplace respects your boundaries before you even walk through the door. So if a door closes in a moment like this, don't internalize it. Sometimes rejection is not about what you lack, but what you're spared from. You don't owe anybody your personal story to prove that you're qualified. Let me leave you with this. If something didn't work out, maybe it wasn't punishment. Maybe it was protection. You don't always see it in the moment, but clarity will come later. Whatever's meant for you will find you wherever you are without requiring you to lose yourself to get it. Sometimes the universe is saying no, and it's not because it doesn't love you enough. It's just saying not like this. So as always, like, comment, share, leave me a note, leave me a little message, tell me hi, let me know you're listening. Thank you for sticking with me. Until next time, bye.